ready for some good healthy lunch, some good crunchy conversation. Hopefully it's healthy conversation as well. Crunchy is healthy. I don't know if that's true. Sounded nice to say though. I like the word crunchy. Crunchy. So, a couple things that I was thinking about to discuss today that I think are kind of interesting is some perspective about or a different angle on Noah's Ark. Something I took from the Bible again. But Noah's Ark, I was thinking that the potential of Earth being the ark in the Noah story as a like a hypothetical or whatever the word is for that, because Earth has all of these creatures just like the ark would have needed to have. Earth potentially is the journey to heaven, or the next destination, the new life. Similar to in the Bible story of Noah, where Noah gets on the ark, which is Earth. All the animals get on the ark with him, which is Earth with all the animals. The world floods, and everyone is doomed except for the people that are in the ark. The ark is Earth, and maybe the universe is the flood. And so we're in the universe, which is this flooded ocean, on the ark, which is the Earth, on our destination to the new world, wherever that afterlife thing is. And so potentially that Noah's Ark story is metaphorical and adds up to something like that. Or another thing is the body. We talked about this yesterday, as if the body is the ark and your knowledge is the animals or the information that you're taking with you to the next location, which would be the afterlife. That's another spin on it. But we talked about that yesterday a little bit. I had a different kind of question about that. That's the secret to success. So I just had to chew with my mouth closed. Right. I just gave you the answer to everything right there, but you couldn't understand it because I had an orange in my mouth. So, how's it going, Dead King? Good to see you back. So I was talking about Noah's Ark and how Earth is kind of like metaphorically the ark with all the stuff, and the ocean is the universe, and the Earth is the ark traveling through the ocean / universe to the new world, which is God or the afterlife or wherever we end up. That was kind of a little bit of a spin on what we were talking about yesterday with the Earth being the ark and different variations of that. But it made me think about something else about Noah that I think is kind of interesting. Noah's super important, dude. He's like a pinnacle point in the Bible where everybody else died. We kind of started over with him. You know what I'm saying? He's like the second Adam and Eve and shit, almost. Like, maybe he is considered that. Like, it seems like everything got to that point. God's like, fuck this. Wipe everything out. Let's start over, and we're going to use you, Noah, and your immediate people around you. I don't know how many people went with him, but I imagine there had to be a woman to restart the whole population after that. But everyone else is doomed. Noah is put on there, and he's given the responsibility of gathering all the animals so that when the ark makes it to new land after the flood happens, we can repopulate the earth with humans that are of Noah and his people. And then the animals that were here already, because God already created those animals and wanted to make sure they got saved for the next sketch or whatever we're in now. But my question is, why did Noah need to gather up all the animals? Like, why involve Noah? Because God's like, all right, everything's jacked up, everyone's screwed, except for maybe Noah might be the only person on earth that wasn't being a dick, and he's the only one that was be nicing. And so God's like, I want to save him. But being that he's God, it seems like that's a lot of trouble. Like, didn't it rain for like 40 fucking years or some shit? It was like a long ass time. Dude, God built the whole earth and everything, time and everything in 7 days. And he's gonna waste 40 fucking years of rain and killing everybody. Why not just be like, okay, erase one day, start over, 7 days over, boom, brand new. What did Noah have that was valuable enough to require or have God attribute the decision of what did God attribute to making the decision of keeping Noah and wiping everybody else out? And then also the animals. Like, the fuck was so special about those animals? Why couldn't he just start over and make new ones? Like, he created them, like, boom, I'm God. There they are, animals. Light, too, boom, I'm God, one day. Like, 40 fucking years? Toil? All this shit Noah has to go through, and then that fucking boat filled with animal pooping everywhere, and where do they get their food and shit? It seems like a lot of work, a lot of work to go through for God and or Noah to get something from scratch when God created everything from scratch and did it in a week. But the Noah route took so much longer than that, and it was way more painful and involved using things from the original creation that were all fucked up enough so that we had to wipe everybody else out. Like, did Noah have the blueprint of perfection or something? Like, shouldn't sin have been removed along with Noah and shit? Like, we started over. Noah didn't eat the apple of the tree of knowledge of good and bad, so why are we still punished? So the Dead King says, maybe God wanted to teach Noah something, and so humans would know better. Okay, maybe he wanted to teach Noah something, and then have it written in a book that gets transferred through time and altered a million times, and still ends up being where we are now with total confusion and a bunch of sinning, evil, lost souls that aren't all going to make it back to God. He's still fucked up. It's not a good plan. Why not start over, lay a plan that works with no Adam and Eve fucking it up, and have something that succeeds? Like, why continue trying to put band-aids all over this fucked up creation that God just can't get right? And be, oh, now I'm not, it's Noah, and we'll put some heavy responsibility on you figuring it out, because I totally fucked up. Maybe if we keep you, I don't have enough material to redo everything. Like, why didn't he just do it over? I don't get that. It seems like the Noah route was just a waste of time. And if it was to teach Noah something, wasn't he supposed to teach the rest of humanity and make it something we could legitimately all agree on and understand and make it work? Wasn't the point of killing everybody on Earth to succeed because it was not succeeding how it was? And so now here we are, still in the same boat. Everyone's a sinner. Everyone's fucked for eternity because they were still attached to the Adam and Eve thing. Yes, Dead King says there are many missing pieces in religion. That's right, and religion will tell you that you need to close your eyes and believe it anyways, using something called faith, that they highly regard as something in replacement of intelligence or thinking it through or a brain or whatever. Don't think about it, just do it. Because as you can see, God made this perfect thing that works. That's why he had to fucking destroy it a few times and start over and shit. Like the Jericho thing, and just, I don't know if that's attached to Noah, but actually I think it might be. Walls of Jericho. God kills people all the time, dude. This guy's like, right, throwing these lives down here. Well, nope, I fucked up. Wipe them out. Nope, stomp those guys out. Nope, war. Nope. Confuse them with mixing their language up so they don't know what they're doing. It's like, dude, what kind of a manager are you, bro? If I worked for somebody like that, I'd fucking quit. Like, dude, it seems like you're trying to make our job harder, dude. And you're like the all-knowing one that should be able to make it easier. If you can't do it, why the fuck are you placing responsibility on your creation that you admit to fucking up, so much so that we're all sinners still, even though you tried a few times to get it right? And then people are like putting faith in this entity that just can't do it right. It just doesn't make sense, dude. I don't know. Noah to me is just another story that adds up to not making sense, which points in the direction of the whole thing being just bullshit. That's what it feels like. Unless Noah carried some sort of genes or blueprint in his flesh that God could not do without, it doesn't make sense to keep Noah and his family and do it over 40 years instead of 7 days from nothing. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe it takes a long time to wad up the paper and start again. I don't know. Maybe that was the hang up. God doesn't have any more paper. He has to use the same piece. Some shit. I don't know, man. But it seems just a little far-fetched to me for that to lay all God's responsibility for rebuilding his creation on Noah, and then Noah still fucked up. It didn't work this time either, because none of us found, we're not all unified and shit like they say we're supposed to be, or the book says, or the religions point to. Because if all these people aren't doing it right, they're obviously doing it wrong. So it's not right. Anyways, I just thought that Noah story was kind of interesting because it goes into a lot of metaphorical possibilities, and it kind of doesn't make sense that God chose that route to recreate things when he's like admitting to failing because everyone he created to follow him is like not paying attention or whatever they were doing. And then I think the woman, he wasn't supposed to turn around and look. I don't know that whole part of the story. Whatever. I'm going to mess it up. But something else that I was talking about yesterday that I think is super cool and opened up something else, another thought in my mind, was womb life. So I've recently been like categorizing sections of our life experience into their own little world or whatever. Like when you're in the womb of your mother is your universe, and if she dies, you're done. So that's your womb life. It's all contained within that universe of a mother's body that's required to be there, or else you're done. And then there's the earth life, which we're in now, and we're living it in the present, and we're experiencing it right now. And then there's the afterlife, or the spirit life, whatever, was where we go when we're dead. And we don't know about that yet. We're trying to understand it and figure it out and be comfortable with it, so that when we get there, we're like, okay, I kind of figured this was going to be the case. It makes it less scary when you think you know what's over there. And so in this womb life, I was thinking that just kind of focusing more on how that experience being in the womb, if I could comprehend or have an experience, which I'm sure something is being felt or an experience is happening potentially that's being recognized by you in your mother's womb, no matter how big you are. There's a certain point where it's like, experience is happening now. Okay, they call it the point of conception, I think, or life starts at this certain point, whatever. That's when you start to feel and experience your existence in a human body or in a flesh piece, right? That grows into what we are now. We don't really remember that when we're here in the earth life. We know about it. We know, or we feel like we know that happened and that it existed and there was a time frame that world was our world, but we can't remember it. It's not like we can go back and be like, oh yeah, dude, I remember when I was tossing around in there in total darkness with the light glowing orange through my mother's belly, and I could hear her listening to Tupac outside of the womb, and it went through all the water, and it sounded way different than Tupac, but that's what it was. And whatever it was, you were having an experience. We just can't remember it, maybe. And so what I was thinking about is how during that experience, when we were there, I wonder how much control of what's happening we have, if any. Like, can we drive our mind or our imagination through that experience a little bit and kind of lean one way or the other to feel something a little bit more, or come closer to the edge of the belly, or because when the baby's in there tossing around, potentially that's what it's doing, the baby is having a life in there. Like, it's part of that experience, which might be a lot more complex and involved than what we remember. And so potentially that has something to do with what we turn out like when we get out here. So if we're in there doing certain things, whatever those might be, or experiencing something depending on where our parents are, music they listen to, stuff they eat, and all of these different factors, what their health is and their job and whatever. If they do exercise that jumps around, or you know what I'm saying, all those things would affect the experience of the baby, which may affect the outcome, and probably does in some form, the outcome of the individual once they were born and turned into a grown-up. And even deeper than that is if you have some kind of end result responsibility, like when you're dead, you in the womb may have conscious awareness that you're doing something that you won't remember when you get to life, and that you're doing it for the purpose of succeeding at the life part that you won't remember when you're there, so that when you get to the spirit part that you kind of do remember because you're still portionally 1 foot in there, that you're setting yourself up for success in this life to achieve that success in the afterlife, kind of, or something like that. Like you have some sort of a responsibility or an ability to enhance your ability to succeed in reaching whatever it is you're trying to reach in the afterlife. So if your life is more involved in that, and you do have a play, then that leans towards the other thought process I was having about being happy with what you have in life, based on you wouldn't trade with someone random, and because you're happy with what you have makes it seem like you kind of chose what your life is ahead of time, and potentially in the womb was part of that decision making and or building of what you knew you were going to have when you got out here. And that's what keeps you feeling like contentish with what you have. And then the world, tries to confuse that, because they're like, oh no, I have something that this is what I'm content with, you should probably be this, have this, and be content. And that throws confusion into your pre-laid out plan that makes it feel like maybe you're not 100% happy, and maybe I do want that other thing. But in the back of your head, you wouldn't trade with that other person because you don't know what else comes with it, because you're happy with what you have because you ordered it. So potentially that ordering process, or that building of what you're going to have in the earth life, starts in the womb life with some kind of comprehension of that happening. And so another thing that I was, another thing attached to that that's kind of interesting is, can we, in the womb life, it would be interesting to think about how maybe, so you got your body, mind, spirit, right? We're here in the earth, we have our body, it contains our brain, which drives our mind and helps us understand our spirit so that we're comfortable and at peace with it, and we can go to that next level. This is a train of thought, okay? If in the womb life, what if, because in the womb life, you don't necessarily have a fully developed brain, which is the housing and or vehicle of your mind. So potentially when you're in the womb life, you still have body, but don't quite yet have mind, because it hasn't turned into something, because mind requires experiences in order to make determination on what it feels or thinks. But in the womb, you haven't had those experiences of life in order to determine what your mind thinks. So maybe when you're in the womb life, rather than a mind, you still have spirit. And that's where the connection happens. So in the womb, your body and spirit still. Then you come out into the earth, spirit goes away, and now your body and mind. And that experience that we're in now, body and mind, is there to help us re-achieve or maybe up-level the next journey back to spirit, where body goes away, the physical body we're in, and then we have spirit. Now, does that spirit connect to another body somewhere else? in a womb and have that connection so that they can develop outward into another human body or some other kind of alien shit, and then so on and so forth. Just connect, 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 connect. Body, spirit, body, mind. Body, spirit, body, mind. I don't know. And then when we get into life that we're in now, potentially we have feelings about things that we think are going to happen, kind of like understanding spirit. And the reason we feel spirit exists is because we feel like time continues after our body dies. And so it seems like a portion of us will go with that time. That portion that goes with time, without body, we consider to be spirit. That's the name we've given it. And so that spirit potentially can try and reattach to another body within a womb somewhere, teach that body in the womb what it learned from the previous succession of body, mind, spirit, and then spirit back to body, another body, teaching that new body in the womb what it learned from the previous run. And then it comes out into the earth world again with more knowledge. So this would indicate spirit life age. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about an old spirit. Okay, this is all coming out right now. I'm going to write this down. Spirit life age. I got to remember that because I'm going to put it in the description. And it's an interesting topic for later all by itself. But spirit life age would be something like that, where if you have your spirit, it connects to a body in a womb. You have womb life where spirit teaches body. Body is then born out into the world where a mind begins to develop. Mind is made here on the earth. Then body dies, reverts back to spirit. That mind transferred information to the new spirit through that experience. Then that new, older, more wise spirit connects to a new womb life, and starts the process over. This again sounds like Buddhism. Dude, I keep ending up at Buddhism. Buddhism is the reincarnation thing, is the cycle of birth, death, rebirth. And that's kind of what we just talked about in a different way, though, without everything being, well, maybe it's really similar. Dude, that's pretty cool. So credit to Buddhism and reincarnation, because I think the mind thought process that led that belief to be something is similar to what we just did there, potentially. It might have other factors, but it seems like that kind of matches up with something that already exists, and it's called Buddhism or reincarnation. And then in that reincarnation thing or Buddhism is when you continue that, mind or spirit to body, womb life, to earth life, build your mind. Your mind teaches the spirit what it learned in its mind life, and then back to womb life and start back over. That cycle is reincarnation, and that cycle is what Buddhism believes. And then they think that once you do that enough times, you'll achieve enlightenment. Once you've been enlightened, you can escape that cycle and you're free into the universe or whatever it is out there, the spirit world or the next level, or I don't know. But that's pretty freaking interesting. I love getting to a conclusion from thinking out something different that lands me somewhere that already has been explained-ish to me. Then it just feels a lot more real. It's like the game Jeopardy, the Jeopardy mindset, thought process or something like that. It's like backwards, but it feels more relevant when it can go both ways. Because if something's real, it doesn't matter how you look at it. It always adds up the same way. You can look at it from over here, from over there, up, down, sideways, whatever. Dude, it's a stick. I can tell that it does this no matter what. And if I turn it this way, the stick's going to poke way over there. It's like it has edges and definition and stuff. And so if it's real and has all those different angles to look at it, you'll end up there eventually. And so, you can't avoid it. It's there. It's something that's real, potentially. So it feels like that process of understanding something and then realizing that what you just understood was something that already had been defined. You just had to happen upon it through the explanation rather than the word and then understand the word through explanation afterwards, feels more valid to me. So that's another one right there that added up to reincarnation being a thing and whatever. But another idea that kind of touches on the womb life and it being more involved and involving things that are important potentially is, so in life we're born, everything's dumped into us, we experience everything. When I say everything's dumped into us, I'm talking about we live and experience life, and that experience is in us. We can remember, yesterday I did this and I remember when I did that. All the things that you've ever done are in you somewhere. You forget about stuff and can't always remember it because your brain doesn't have time to think through all that shit constantly. It packs it away, and when you need it, you go in there and try and find it. Sometimes you lose it. It's like, damn, I can't find that shit. Or sometimes people will show you a picture of something, you're like, oh dude, I totally would have forgot about that. It totally went off my entire map until you showed me that picture. But it's in there. You just can't always access it. So potentially the experiences in the womb life is in there. And you built it when you were in the womb and put it in this little treasure chest and packed it away into your knowledge. And then when you're born out here, it's in there as kind of this resonating knowledge that's there where you kind of feel like, because I think that it feels like I have some skill or knowledge or whatever that I was just born with. Like I feel like my vocabulary, for example, I was not good in English class or any of the classes, writing, reading, any of that kind of stuff in school was not my favorite thing, and I didn't feel like I was any good at it. But for whatever reason, I'm sitting here I talked for like 3 freaking hours and use the same word twice or something, if that was a challenge. I feel like I have vocabulary in me that I didn't necessarily learn from a school book or something. So it seems like there are certain types of skill or knowledge or something that's in you already that you're born with and you're going to be better at than the next person potentially because you had that in you to start. Michael Jordan, not everyone can do this shit. He was born with something that we weren't, right? Take smart, Tesla, freaking Newton, Edison, okay, these guys are born with something that we weren't. And so it seems like that information, everything that you experience is in you somewhere. Womb life experience is probably in there somewhere too. We can't access it because our brains that we use to remember using our mind was really small at that time. And so the stuff that's down in there is way, 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 way down in there. But yesterday I was talking about how in psychedelic experiences, so I hear, you'll get into a point in your brain, in your mind, where there's nothing but you. All the walls are down. There's no ego. There's no pride or jealousy or hatred or anything that would have been there because of the world doing things to make you react, or the world reacting to things that they're reacting to that's causing you to have a feeling or a belief. When you were in the womb, you had none of that. When you take psychedelics, those things disappear dependent on what you're doing and how much of it. Okay, but at certain levels in here, you'll get to a point where you're back to womb life almost. Nothing else is important. What's important is your goodness and what you're made of and the truth of your core. The only thing there is what you are. And you'll hear people say that they had death, ego death and stuff. That's where that comes from, is realizing the importance of that core thing that would have been present, only present, with no distractions while you were in the womb. Potentially, it seems like you're accessing memories and or experiences that happened and you felt, and you're just remembering them a little better. Like when someone shows you a picture of that time you did that thing you forgot about, and you're like, oh shit, dude, I wish you didn't show me that. So but it seems like the potential of that is there, because when you're in one of those experiences, it feels familiar. It seems like you're back in this place that you are supposed to be, that you came from, that's pure and good and clean, and everything is right because right is right, and that's what it wants to be. Like peace. It's it is what it is, and it goes out like that. And so it seems like potentially, because in our life all of our experiences get dumped down in there, and they're in there. You can drum them up if you try hard enough or have the right tool to find them. Similarly with womb life memories, if you have the right tool to find them. In our life, if someone shows you a picture of something you forgot, that's a tool that helps you remember it, and then all of a sudden all those memories come digging out. In this situation, some magic mushrooms might be the tool that allow you to dig up the experiences that you had while you were in womb life, without distractions of ego and pride and hate and, all that. Okay, insecurities and anxieties and stuff that life presents, only because there are other things disrupting what you had when you were in the womb life, which was peace. That's what it feels like is happening, kind of. It seems like if I tried to imagine myself in the womb without having ever experienced the full-blown effects of what we experience here in life, it potentially would have had a feel similar to the one that is reportedly experienced when eating things like magic mushrooms or psychedelics of certain kinds. That is very fucking interesting, and I think it can't be denied as a possibility. It seems like that's something that could be happening, and it would be very difficult to determine whether or not it actually is happening. But if you use your mind to put yourself in there and then compare it to the feelings and experience that you have in the state of, of psychedelics, it might feel something similar to that. Similar, at least. And so I thought that was just really interesting. I think the womb life potentially holds a lot more secrets and answers than we might be looking at it for, because it was the connection, the link between not existing and being on Earth. The missing link is womb life. Womb life was a year and a half or whatever. What is it, 10 months? Yeah, it's like a year, I guess. How long is it? 8 months? I can't remember. 8 months or something like that. I'm confusing it with weeks, but I think it's 8 months. So however long it is, it's a period of time around a year, okay? That I should know this, dude. I don't even know how long it takes to have a baby. But I know how to have peace of mind, and I'm going to share that with you. Don't listen to me. I'm totally stupid. I don't even know how long a baby takes to cook. So I think it's 8 months, though. But anyways, that portion of time that was the base, the ignition point, the lighting of the wick or of the fuse point, right when that happened is when womb life occurred. The amount of potential for valuable growth of mind and or spirit, including body, all at once. It's like potentially in this theory that we're talking about, spirit is teaching body slash body brain to develop mind in order to find itself spirit at the end of the race. Like, okay, guys, you're gonna go out there. This is the spirit telling the little body, all right, you're gonna get out there into the big world. You're gonna do this, that. I'm gonna give you these ingredients and this extra, because I've sat up here in spirit world and I can see that this is a beneficial makeup for you, for me, and you get on into life and figure this shit out, and I'll see you at the end, and we'll get back into this and ready up for the next one, unless we figure it out on this try. And potentially the spirit is building up itself in this body to its idea of what it thinks will be the successful human in order to accomplish this task of life, to reconnect with more information and benefit with the spirit after it goes through the life cycle. And then when it gets back to the spirit, the body goes away, brings all of its mind with it, enhances the spirit so that the spirit can start over and do it again, or the spirit can escape into freedom and have enlightenment, or be enlightened and escape into freedom. So I don't know, man. I think that's super cool. Womb life's badass, dude. It's something. It's one of the 3 steps that we know about, or that we know about, because we do know that womb life happened. Fucking happened, dude. Life is happening. This is where we are. And we're not 100% sure, but for the most part, we think we'll continue along in some form or another with time, as time goes on after our body dies. And so those 3 things are the ones that we feel like are there. The one we're in, the one we came from, and the one that's next, we hope or think. We don't even look past that. Past that, it's like that. It feels like that next life is the eternal one. But for all we know, there's another one after that. There might be like 7 lives before you get to the end. And we had womb life, earth life, spirit life, megadaka life, supadaka life. Who knows, dude? These things are fucking in alien language. It's not even a real word on Earth. So there could be all kinds of different scenarios, obviously. That's why this channel will never end, because it just goes on forever, just like the possibilities. Spirit is mind in the womb life. Oh, that's what I was just talking about. I jumped into the next one. Actually, it looked like I had 3 notes, but it was just that one note that got super long. And then, okay, so yeah, that was something I was talking about too, is spirit life age. Oh, I just wrote that note down, that's why. Spirit life age. Mind understands spirit and is accepted, and at peace. Yep, that's what we said. So I guess that's kind of run dry on my topics that I had planned out. Oranges are good. I ate before. I'm starting to eat a little before I get to this, because that gives me more empty mouth to talk with, so you don't have to gather all my bits all over the camera screen when I'm eating and talking at the same time, like we know we're not supposed to do. But spirit life age, that's kind of interesting too. That's something that just came up, the age of your spirit, because you hear people talking about that, or I've heard old soul, like people that have an old soul, and potentially that's true. It seems like there's another thought that I had about spirit families, and like how it's kind of like a guardian angel or something, but you have this spirit family that's like your earth family kind of, but they're in the spirit world, and when you die you're gonna meet them again, and it's gonna be like, oh hey dude, I remember this now, thanks for watching out for me and hooking me up with that, whatever over there. Oh, I know what I can talk about. That reminds me. Did I say this already? Anyways, I can't remember if I talked to you. I know I didn't today, so. But a while back, actually I think I did talk about this, but a while back ago I got a gun pulled on me here on the moon. And did I talk about this? I feel like I did. Now I'm starting to confuse my own thoughts and what actually came out of my mouth to you, or just to my truck while I'm driving down the street. But I got a gun pulled on me a year or 2 or 3 ago, whatever it was. And so I was driving, I was at a stoplight, dude runs into me, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, boom, got running towards me, my coffee, oh, fuck, dude, what the hell, I jumped out of the truck, hey, bro, dude, what the hell's your problem, man, why are you doing this, what the fuck, you ran into me. He's like, oh, I don't have any brakes. I was like, what the fuck, you don't have brakes, why are you driving, dude? Yeah, it was gnarly, dead king. So I got out, went back to his car. It was some 20-something-year-old dude, and Mexican guy, had no paperwork. This was like an illegal alien, not from outer space. But I went back there and like, fuck, dude, you hit my fucking truck. And he's like, I don't have brakes. I'm like, dude, you don't have brakes? What the fuck are you doing driving, dude? Let's get out of the middle of the street and pull into this parking lot over here and figure this shit out. So we drive over there. I called the cops on my way there. I'm like, dude, this guy just ran into me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You guys come figure this shit out. Click. Got to the parking lot. Went, looked at my truck, walked around, went to the dude, tried to get his information. He said he didn't speak English. I got someone on the phone who speaks Spanish. He told them the story. They told me that he said he didn't have paperwork, he didn't have insurance, it's all left at home, and that he's full of shit. Basically, he's lying. This is what my translator said. And so then I'm like, I know, he's probably lying, whatever, all right, let me go check out my truck. So I hung up the phone, went back to my truck, I'm looking around, making sure it works. The whole time, the guy was pretty cool. He was listening to my mouth, you know, I wasn't like threatening him or anything, but I'm like, fucking, you're a dumbass, bro, what the fuck's your problem? And so I look in the truck, you know, the truck seemed okay. I'm like, all right, bro, look, wait right here. I'm going to drive the truck around the parking lot because the police are taking forever. I don't want to deal with them anymore. I'm going to drive around. If everything seems cool, we're done. Let's just get this over with and get out of here. It's all good. Don't, you know, pay attention. So I drive around the parking lot. Everything seems good. I come back to the car and while I was under the truck and checking everything out, I have a bat in the back of my truck and I was using that to kind of pry the bumper thing back. He was in his car, like digging through the back seat and wandering around in the trunk and shit. And I really wasn't paying that close attention to what he was doing. I was just doing my thing, checking out my truck. And so then everything was okay. I was gonna go tell him, all right, we're done. Let's get out of here. Truck runs. Just fucking pay attention, right? I was gonna cut him loose. So I went over there. He's sitting in his driver's seat, looking up at me, and I'm standing right there, telling him, or I went to tell him something. And he had money in his hand. He had a stack of money in his hand. And so I bit my tongue for a minute. I said, what are you going to do with that? And he holds it up. It was like $20 or something. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you going to do with $20, dude? This bumper's going to cost like $1,200 to fix. And so he grabs $80 and holds it up. And I was like, I'll take that. Done. Took it, put it in my pocket. And then I was about to cut him loose, like I was going to the first time before he offered me money. And I said, and he holds up a little baggie. Start shaking it. I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? I said, is that this? He said, no. I said, this? He said, oh, no. Oh, no. Let me back up. He held up the baggie. I said, what the fuck is that? Is that marijuana? He said, no. I said, is that this? He said, no. I said, is that this? He said, yes. I was like, fuck you. That shit'll fucking kill you. I don't want that shit. And he didn't speak English. And I said, that shit'll fucking kill you. And I think he thought I said I was going to fucking kill him. Because as soon as I said that shit, his demeanor changed. His eyes glazed over. He fucking got all stiff and looked at me. He turned around to the back behind his passenger seat. Comes out with a Beretta and shit. Puts it out like this. I was like, oh, fuck. God damn, bro, dude. It's all good. I was backing up like hands up. Like, dude. You don't have to use that. It's okay. Dude, don't trip. All right? It's okay. I wasn't really in fear. Thinking back on it, it was not a fearful thing. It kind of felt I was waiting to feel the bullet, and I was being very cautious with, not fear though, I wasn't like scared or panic. I felt like I knew it wasn't going to happen, but at the same time I was waiting for it to happen, something like that. And I'm backing up, looking around like, dude, should I run? No, because then my back is straight to him. I'm going to go around my truck. And I was like a cat on the other side of the tree for his truck. As he backed out, I was walking around my truck the other side to make sure the truck was between me and him. And he backed out, went around the parking lot. I went around my truck and he bumped out. Burp! And I was just like, oh fucking shit, that just happened, dude. Getting in my truck, I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude. Boom. Called the cops back, said, hey man, you guys never showed up. This dude pulled a gun on me and fuck this shit. And they said, all right, go back, we'll meet you there. I said, no, dude, I'm not going to go back to the same spot. I'll meet you down the street at this other place, at the Home Depot. So we met there. I told him the story, showed him pictures that I had of this dude, told him everything I just told you, and they asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said, no, I don't want to press charges, but I want you to take this information and fucking, do whatever you're going to do with it. I'm not, trying to go to the roots with this shit. I don't want to see that dude again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that beefed up against him, but just fucking do your job, bro. And they said that if I'm not pressing charges, nothing's going to happen. You can't do shit. But they also told me that if they found me with a gun, they'd throw my ass on the ground, felony stop, done, you're going down, you got something to take. That was their exact words. And so that was a little shiny on that subject. But so anyways, that happened. And this happened in a place that I work all the time, in the most dangerous county or city in the country that I'm sitting in right now. And that's what Google says. So you want to know where that happened? Google most dangerous city in the United States, and that'll tell you where I was. And so anyways, I work in that city a lot. And so that was in my head for the next couple days. Like, I don't even know what this dude looked like, really. You know, I wasn't paying that close attention. Kind of remember what his car looked like. I had pictures, but they were, you know, not. I'm not going to eyeball this guy and be like, oh, that's him, right? And he could be in a different car with tinted windows and could just end me because he's thinking, you know, whatever, bro. I don't even know what the fuck. So it was a little bit in my head after that for about a week. Just kind of like looking around and shit, being a little more sketched. But the point of this whole thing is where I ended up at the end of that experience was that I kind of went over different scenarios that could have happened. While it was happening, I was just doing what I was doing. After it happened, I had a chance to reflect on it and be like, dude, so many things could have went wrong. So many things. I jumped out of the truck at that very first point, went back all like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Dude, he could have just pulled that shit out. Boom, shut up, bitch. Done. Laying there in the street, 9 o'clock in the morning, bullet in my head. Same thing when we got to the parking lot, because I got out of my truck, I started talking shit to him, got in my back of my truck, pulled out a baseball bat, not to hurt him with, but I was wedging it on my truck. I don't know what the fuck he thinks about that. Bullet in the head. I'm under the truck. He's right there. He could have easily came over and just stick that thing right in my face while I'm under the truck and just boom, one bullet. And then when I went over and I started talking to him, told him, fuck that shit, all that, same thing. When he pulled that gun out, he could have just all the way, boost. Boom, 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 boom. I'm dead. So I was thinking about that, and that got me thinking about other times in my life where near-death experiences happened, which, dude, more than a handful, bro. I've actually been in the hospital for 8 days and told that I should be dead from the incident, snowboarding, running into a fucking tree down a hill called Spitfire. And fucking got knocked the fuck out. Cracked my skull, broke 2 ribs, broke my patella bone, ruptured my spleen, bruised my brain. Fuck, dude, that's probably why I'm like I am now. I'm all fucked up. But dude, totally almost died in that situation. Hospital for 8 days. I remember like 2 days out of that 8. And then many other times, okay? I got stories galore of stuff and, you know, younger age stuff with alcohol involved and just, dude, how the fuck am I still alive, dude? And I started thinking about that. And I started thinking about, what if I'm not? What if I died in one of those and I just think I'm alive and this is death? And I'm actually in death right now and this is it and I just don't realize it because that's just how it is. You die and then you just go. This ghost thing just keeps thinking it's alive and fucking wanders around doing YouTube videos. Calls himself Dirty Honey. That's totally fucking trippy. I don't know that didn't happen. Another thing is that I thought about because of that incident and all the other incidents that were near-death experiences potentially is that maybe you have to accept death at the point that it might happen or it won't happen. Kind of like you're writing your own story. You're Dead King, that's right. I know, I'm talking to somebody named Dead King. So, you're figuring it out. But what I'm saying is that if you have a choice if to accept death or not, or if your brain concludes that death is imminent or inevitable, potentially you're more likely to die if your mind has control over reality in any shape or form. Kind of like writing your story as you write it. You can change what you're going to write at any time. and you comprehend that and use your flow or whatever to predict that ahead of what you're going to write. And where the story is going in your head is what's going to write out here. And so potentially in this thought, after that happened, my mind was like, dude, maybe I didn't let myself die because I'm still young enough to feel like that shouldn't happen yet. And my mind is programmed to not accept death right now. And it just isn't going to happen because my brain will glitch right through it like a deja vu glitch or something and patch over it with this. And whoop, we just kept on going. You don't even remember that happened. Whoop. Nope, you stayed alive because you weren't ready for that. It could have went this way, could have went this way, could have went this way. You chose that way, so you're still living. And maybe we die later, not because we choose to, but because we think we're going to, and program ourselves to allow death to happen because we feel like it's an inevitability because other people are doing it. But perhaps they're doing it for the same reason, and it's this rolling snowball of following that blind guy way back there that started the whole thing and caused our brains to feel like they should be doing, failing or dying or cancering or dying, getting that bullet in the head because it's about time, or not because this isn't in the plan, didn't see this happen, I still got to do that other thing 2 years from now. Not going to happen because if it did, these other things couldn't happen that need to happen for my story that I'm writing. So maybe we can live as long as we decide we want to, as long as we really, really, really believe it. Maybe it can happen. That's probably easier to say than to do. Not sure that anyone's actually doing that, but if they are, they're probably not telling anyone about it. So maybe I'm doing it. I'm 500 years old, and you just can't tell because using the dirty honey secret. So, but anyways, I really did think about that as potential, running it through my brain like it was a reality, like I do with everything, just to feel it out and see what it feels like to believe something. Because you can't really know what the ride is like unless you get on it. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to look at that roller coaster, but it's even more fun to get on and ride it. And so, anyways, I just thought that was kind of cool. It was something that, like a traumatic-ish, not traumatic, but, nobody wants to have a gun pulled on them, dude. It was a little bit hessian. Totally sketchy thing that happened, and then the reflection on it was something that was just a little bit mind-altering or something like that. But if that's the case, I actually have a video called 200 Year Life that kind of talks about that thing, something similar to that, where you can live forever, depending on, your mind. You basically, just like what I just talked about, actually. 200 Year Life. My plan is to live for 222 years. And so at least it is right now. I might change that and then just accept death sooner. Who knows? But I just thought that was kind of interesting thought. And a little bit of a cool story about how Dirty Honey got a gun pulled on him. Marking that thing off the bucket list. So, anyways, we're running out of time here. I'm on 53 minutes. And I feel like my well of conversation is drying up. And my orange is super juicy. So I should probably get back to tending to my oranges before they... Look at my rag is like orange now. It's so juiced up. Mm-hmm. I forgot to say something. It's super important. Can't say it with the orange in my mouth. But be nice. You didn't know I was going to say that. Gotcha. Made you wait. Be nice. 91.5 FM on the radio. KUSC.org on the internet. And tell a friend, dude. That's the new mission. You got to tell a friend. I want some more subscribers in here. I only got like 80 million. I need a couple million more. So make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Like the videos. Watch them all. And we'll see you next time. Try to do this every weekday at 11 o'clock. 11 a.m.-ish. Sometimes a little bit early, like today. Sometimes a little bit late, like pretty much every other day. And you have a good day too, Dead King. It's good to see you here. And we'll see you guys again next time. Be nice. Bye.